Hello and welcome to New Mexico Rising. My name is Dan. You know, every week I try to talk to people from across the country about things you can do right here in your neighborhood. And honestly, I'm tired. This holiday season kicked my butt. I was doing 2 shows a week, and also I have another show in another state, so I'm a little tired. That's the reason why I'm just wearing this black shirt today. And hopefully your 2024 was okay. Mine has been up and down and up and down. So yeah, I'm really, really tired and stressed out. So this week I didn't do anything new. It's all old stuff. But I tried to find a few of my favorite segments. Hopefully it's enough to keep you entertained for the next half hour. Some celebrities, some of my favorite celebrity interviews that I had this year. I couldn't find everything because I know I have a whole bunch more. I just haven't had time to go through all of my files to find the perfect and my most favorite celebrities that I had on the show so far. But I did my best for the time and energy that I had, and that means I did as little as possible. So please forgive me. It's the beginning of the year. This is how I start off 2025, with a lot of apologies. So everyone out there that I've ever shamed in my entire life, I apologize. And I could just hear a resounding ha from all of them. All right, let's get to the show. All right, after this. You have no idea how nervous I am right now. I am like,
nervous?
I never
You're
get nervous.
You're nervous. What about me? I'm more nervous.
Are you?
So I win.
That's
I
good.
win the nervous case.
I keep telling people, hey, I got Diane Keaton. I'm going to talk to her on Monday. They're like, why would you want to talk to you? And I'm like, good point. Good point.
No way.
I think they're all just messing with me, but I think that's all part of the charm. All right, I'll start this off.
Okay.
I don't know. I think I like how the beginning is going. I was going to start off and say, I love coming of age stories. I love stories that are like people trying to figure out their sex life and coming to age. And a lot of the times it's usually like college kids. But
let me ask you something. Different. Is there no sex life when you're old?
That's the thing.
Because you're the one that's saying sex life. You're telling me, yeah, what is the age there? What?
No, I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is this is in the same vein as all of those coming of age movies. And I was too dumb to even think about it until I started watching. I'm like, this is just a coming of age movie, and this is awesome. As a 42-year-old man that's sitting there to watch on, okay, I got to watch the book club. I watched all of them I watched both of them this weekend in a row, and I was actually thrilled. I laughed. I even cried in moments, and I just realized that this is just a cute, fun series that I was missing out on, and it was all my own fault. So I have to say thank you guys for making this and putting it together, and such an incredible crew and cast, and a brand new director, Bill Holderman. He had to step in and with all these actors. I think I see them both as one big movie. That's what happened this weekend because I saw them both back to back.
You're interesting.
I'm trying to be interesting.
You are. You are. What do you
all right. As a person that has worked with all of these amazing directors, you had to coach him a little bit to get through his first film, the first book club. How was it working with him again on book club 2, and how did that work?
Oh, everything was smooth. It worked well. It worked very well. Very well. He had a good time. He was great.
Oh,
I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Okay. I told my mom that I was going to interview you, and she was like,
oh, let's talk about your mom. I'm interested in that.
All right. No, that's the whole point, is that she, her husband of many years just passed away a few months ago. Oh, and this is all just like, and that was my dad. And I was telling her I'm going to interview Diane Keaton. She's a huge movie fan. And out of the one movie, she said, I loved her in that movie, Baby Boom. And I had no idea what she was talking about. I was like, what, Baby Boom? She was like, yeah, it's an amazing movie. She was this really important businesswoman that had her act together. And then someone, one of her family members has, she gets a baby, and then she has to like change her life to be both a mom, but still.
That's one of my earliest. And you know who was the director of that? Nancy Myers.
Who?
Nancy Myers.
Oh, Nancy Myers. Sorry,
it was. She was. Yeah, I mean, she and her husband, they really made that movie. That really was a change for me in my life. It was great, and they were really good. Nancy in particular. I know Nancy. I love her.
And for a few minutes, she was just completely gushing about how that movie inspired her and changed her life, and said like, because she had a baby in this movie and she was some business person, nobody believed in her, but she still did her thing and was strong. And I was like, and she went on gushing for a few minutes about this movie that I've never heard of, and I'm sorry, but like,
No, it's
I
fine.
had to tell you the same story. I was like, I wish I was recording you right now. I'd play it for Diane and just have
Thank you.
give her that feeling that you're telling stories that a lot of people connect with, and even with the book club.
You're interesting. Let's just get real. Let's get real. And your mom sounds great.
I'm trying. Is that a bad thing? I feel
No,
bad.
it's great.
Okay.
No,
Okay,
really
good.
great.
Okay, good.
I
Good,
love
good.
it. You're great.
So how was your trip to Italy? Or
My trip to
doing all
Italy?
that?
Fabulous. Fabulous.
That's
Yeah.
what I would be like. Book club 2.
Have
the
you
next
been
chapter.
to Italy? Have you been to Italy?
I've only been to like LA and some Colorado stuff. I need to start traveling more out of the world.
Yeah, I
I've
think
been
you
to
should
Scotland.
go.
It's been fun. Yeah.
Go to Italy.
Yeah. Do you have a book club that you joined on your own, or a group of friends? Because I know you.
Well, I don't really
between
have friends. I have no friends.
You have no friends?
No, I'm lying. Yeah, I have some friends, but I don't go to clubs or, hang out with a lot of people that are women. That I don't have that. But I have friends. I have women friends.
Mm-hmm.
Will you apologize and say, yes, Diane, of course you have so many nice friends.
I believe that you have a ton of friends, and I would love to be your friend. I'd even join a book club with you. I'd read 50 Shades of Grey and a half with you.
You're nuts. I'm going to call your
I think your
mom.
flag is
I'm
gonna
calling
tell
your
me to-
mother. I'm calling her.
You could. I'll
I'm
give you her
going to
number,
call
and then
her.
she'll be like,
You
"Who is
give
this?"
me the phone number, and I'll call her and tell her what I think.
Well, thank you. Do you know what? I'm gushing because all of my questions just crashed. I knew that was going to happen when I got out here. Diane Keaton, I'm nervous. I'm like talking to one of the most wonderful humans on earth in film, and
You're interesting.
Dan, we're out of time. We gotta wrap this up.
All right, looks like they're kicking me out. I'm sorry, Diane. I had all these questions, but just like my brain exploded when I started talking to you. I didn't know where to begin. Thank you. I love you. You're an icon of cinema. Thanks for joining me this morning. Check out Book Club, The Next Chapter. It is in theaters now. Has Diane Keaton, Jane Fonda, Mary Steenburgen, Candice Bergen, Andy Garcia, Don Johnson, Craig T. Nelson, and many more. If you haven't seen the first Book Club, go back and watch that one as well. They're both 2 cute movies that have basically 4 friends come together and tell their stories, and their bond is just really fun and cute. So definitely check out Book Club, The Next Chapter. It's in theaters now.
Thank you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
I can't control myself, and I don't know if I can say this on morning television, but I'm the type of guy to say our next guest is hard as hell. Ladies love him, and I can't decide to call him the greatest of all time or a phenomenon. He's someone that that reminds me of why I can't live without my radio, and I'm making so many references. It just seems like I'm thinking about pink cookies in a plastic bag getting crushed by buildings. But before he says forget about it, let's welcome to the show, Mr. Smith. I mean, Mr. James Todd Smith, or Mr. LL Cool J. Welcome to the show, my friend.
Thank you. That was cool. That was slick, man.
Hey, as you can tell, I'm a huge fan. I've been working at local hip-hop radio since like 99. So I got to give a shout out to the team over at 101.3 The Hustle. They let me hang out with them and kick with them. So you're bringing a big show to San Diego Casino on August 27th. Rakim, Big Boy, DJ Jazzy Jeff, The Roots. What the heck is this? You're blowing my mind with all these names, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. And what's really amazing about it is it's one set all night long. In other words, the Roots Band, DJ Z-Trip, DJ Jazzy Jeff, and all of us artists are performing as the night goes on. So once we start, we don't stop. It's not like Rakim is going to do a set and go away and then Big Boy's going to do a set. No. It's LL Cool J's on stage, Rakim's on stage, Big Boy's on stage, Bone Thugs on stage, Z-Trip's on. Like, it's going to be like the ultimate hip-hop experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, not like normal tours. Most of the time when these tours come through, people kind of do one at a time, one artist at a time. It's not like that. We're all on stage together. It's going to be crazy.
So how did this whole thing come about? Like, what happened?
Yo, we did the Grammys, man, and performing, and the rest was history. We just, me and Quest talked about it. Me and his team talked about it. My team talked about it. And we said, let's take this thing on the road. And the rest is history. I've made some phone calls, put together a great lineup of people that just want to rock. And there's going to be special guests as well. So there's always surprises. So it's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be crazy.
So this tour highlights and brings some of the like greatest hip hop artists in the same way your Rock the Bells radio on Sirius XM does. Can you share any like behind the scenes insights on how you like produce and plan this show? Do you just like roll through your contacts and be like, hey, you win? How does that work?
It kind of works like that. It kind of works like who would I love to see? It kind of works like, who's available that I think really could rock, that we can all rock together and make it crazy. There's a lot of different like ways that we approach it. But ultimately, I was just thinking, okay, I want to go on the road. I want to do it with the Roots because I think it'll be curated on another level. I want us all to be on stage at once. And let me see who's around. Let's see who wants to get down. And the rest is history. Here we are, man. The force, frequencies of real creative energy. And that's the thing, too. I wanted to bring a lot of creative energy to the actual show. So the presentation itself is very creative as well. How we do it, how it's executed, how we present the music. It's going to be crazy, man. Different, very unique and new for people. So this is one of those, in the 50th anniversary of hip hop, this is one of those shows that you don't want to miss. You don't want to tell people that, I had a shot and didn't. Like, this is the one to go to. Trust me on that.
I'm definitely going to be there.
Yeah.
Okay, I was listening to Kevin Hart's Heart to Heart, and he had an interview with Dr. Dre, and they talked about something like the Dream collabs, but everybody asks about Dream collabs. But Dr. Dre started revealing that there was a couple of big name collabs that he turned down, including like Prince and Michael Jackson. He said he didn't know what he could do with people that he admired so much. So you could either answer who are your dream collabs question, but everybody does that. But was there anybody that you didn't get to collab with, and why?
Not really, man. I pretty much work with everybody that I ever wanted to work with. And, anybody that I didn't get to work with, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like, as an artist, I'm just happy to be doing what I'm doing. And, I'm good.
No, I'm just asking that because it seems like your whole, your radio station is all about bringing artists together. The show is about bringing artists together, and that's why I was just wondering if there was anybody that would just kind of missed the mark somewhere. But that's all I was just wondering.
Well, there's a lot of artists that for one reason or another we didn't get together. Sometimes maybe it was a song that I didn't like or they didn't like. Maybe they didn't like what we were looking to do, or it might have been availability. There's a lot of different reasons why it doesn't happen. Maybe the artist wanted to do it, management felt different. There could be a lot of different reasons. It doesn't always have to be just creative differences or just availability. It's always a million reasons, but I'm good. You know what I'm saying?
Gotcha.
There's no one out there that I'm waking up in the morning wow, I want to work with that person. I mean, I got the new album coming out. I got some cool collaborations on it. And I'm very pleased with who I got on the record. So I'm not.
I'm good. That's good. LL.
Yeah, I'm good.
I'm excited for the show. It's gonna be an amazing show. Well, I have one final question. One of my friends asked me to ask you because we've been debating it. Who did Mama say to knock out, and did you?
Well, Mama said knock out. I was talking about competition, and I definitely did that for sure. It went very well.
Well, thank you for hanging out with me this morning. Thank you very much. That's LL Cool J hanging out with you right here on New Mexico Rising. Thank you, bud.
Peace.
Few stories capture the imagination quite like Wicked. From its incredible run on Broadway, its highly anticipated big screen adaptation, this is a tale that's enchanted millions. Joining us today is Ethan Slater, the talented actor bringing Bach to life in this reimagined Oz. Ethan, welcome to the show, my friend.
Dan, thank you for having me.
All right, I know you're used to stepping into some surreal worlds, like SpongeBob, and
Yeah, sure.
now you're jumping into Oz. It has a huge, passionate fan base. What was it like for you to kind of step into this world and take in the role of Bach and a character that's really integral to the story?
Yeah, there is a lot of crossover there in some ways. SpongeBob meant so much to so many people for 20 years, right? It was like this piece of animation and comedy that changed my sense of humor and all of my friends' sense of humor. And Wicked was kind of the same thing. It was a piece of theater that taught me how to think about theater. It was one of the first shows I ever saw when I was 11 years old. I think it was the second Broadway show I ever saw. And, you know, I fell in love with the original Broadway cast album. I fell in love with this story. And it made me sort of want to do more and more and more and more. So I know how much it means to people because it meant that much to me. And just like with SpongeBob, where I wanted to take care of the character and make sure that people saw SpongeBob when they saw me, but I also wanted to put my own spin on it. So is the same with Bach. I wanted to make sure that I paid homage to Christopher Fitzgerald, who played it originally on Broadway, to the dozens of people, if not more, who have played it in the 2 decades since. But I also wanted to bring my own version of Bach to this world. And I feel really grateful, honestly, to John Chu, who fostered that in a huge way.
And the journey of creating Bach is both heartfelt and it's tragic. How did you approach balancing this kindness and his struggles with this unrequited love?
I think it's a really human thing and something that I think a lot of people can relate to. You know, Bach with Nessa, there's another unrequited love there, but their relationship over the course of this movie, it sort of blossoms. It starts from a place of misunderstanding, but I think they really care about each other, and they form a really real friendship that just means something different to Nessa than it does to Bach. And in the face of that, he's dealing with his unrequited love for Galinda. And I think what's really beautiful about this is the way that throughout all of that, Bach is still leading with good enough intentions, and he's you know, looking for his place in the world, and he kind of finds it. And then, you know, as John has talked about, a lot of Wicked is about what happens when the curtain is pulled back and the truth is revealed, and how do you handle that? How do you handle that shake-up to your system, to your sense of the world? And that's kind of what starts to happen in part 2, which I'm really excited about, but can't really talk about yet. Sorry, I got ahead of myself.
That's all right. Your bosses aren't watching my show. You could put as many spoilers here as possible.
It might be.
The production design, it's breathtaking. What was it like filming in these like elaborate sets, and what are you excited for fans of Wicked to see?
The sets were stunning and larger than life. I think that's something that I was really amazed by in the moment. Was I remember walking onto the set of Shiz and just kind of like, you know, my eyes just like going up, 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 because they built this huge quad of the school, and there's a giant lake, and we entered the school on boats in the lake. And I remember thinking, God, I hope people don't assume this is CGI. I remember seeing, you know, the wizard head in the wizard's chambers, and thinking, I really hope people realize that in real life, those eyebrows and the lips are moving and the sound is coming through. It's all really built. And I think watching the movie, what I'm struck by is that the practical nature of the sets and of the costumes and of the world, it really comes through. It feels really lived in. And so it just sort of proved to me the value of it, I guess.
Ethan, thanks for joining me this morning and kind of giving us that little peek behind the curtain of Wicked. We can't wait to check it out. It's in theaters now, and thank you guys for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thank you for having me, and thanks everyone for watching. Go see Wicked, I guess.
Today, I have an extremely special guest. And all right, this is someone that I absolutely admire. I love his down-to-earth, honest, and kind of direct style of storytelling. As a TV producer myself, I've always kind of like looked up to his ability to just tell the real stories about everyday Americans and do it like comfortably, without a lot of pizzazz, but yet it's just like full of heart. So he's here with his new film, Something to Stand For, which takes us through some of like America's most pivotal historical moments. So let's welcome him to the show, Mr. Mike Rowe. How are you?
Wow. Oh, Dan, that's the kind of intro that, I mean, you set the bar so high. I really don't know how I'm going to do anything other than disappoint your listeners, but I'm gonna try and bring my A-, B+ game right here and see what happens.
I'm in. We'll see how this goes. Honestly, your storytelling has always been about like highlighting those that aren't always the center of attention and seeing kind of some charm in what they do. Was there a different approach that you took while trying to tell historical stories for Something to Stand For?
Well, I guess maybe a little bit. You know, for me, I think about dirty jobs and somebody's got to do it and returning the favor and all the projects I've been involved in. And they're all kind of the same in the sense that I'm just tapping the country on the shoulder and saying, hey, what about him? What about her? Get a load of that, right? It's normally either a person who's laboring out of sight and therefore out of mind, but doing something that benefits all of us, or somebody who's been misunderstood or maybe unfairly portrayed for any number of reasons. So the movie is absolutely in line with that thing that I've been doing. It's different in the sense that everything I've done on TV historically has been no second takes. You know, it's not scripted. There's no casting. You know, Dirty Jobs was just fly on the wall. What you're looking at right now is obvious cinematography. Everything is very scripted, very intentional. And this movie has 9 of those recreations in it. They're actually mysteries that were written in the style of The Rest of the Story, that old Paul Harvey radio show that was so popular. So, you know, you got 9 mysteries, each one about 9 minutes long, stitched together with a trip to DC. And I go back there to visit some of the statuary and the memorials and the monuments that I first visited when I was a kid on my first field trip to the National Mall. So put it all together, and you've got something that I've never seen before. It's a movie for sure, but it's not a documentary, and it's not Saving Private Ryan. It's something in between.
And the film kind of delves into events from American Revolution to the Civil Rights Movement. How did you decide what stories to feature, and what was like the process of bringing them to kind of life?
Well, the most important thing in this format, in my opinion anyway, is to entertain. It has to, there has to be something fundamentally in the center of the story that makes you go, what? Really? I didn't know that. And after that, I just simply wanted to make sure that I was telling a story that would aid a sense of gratitude. Like the point of wanting to do this was to say to conservatives and liberals, Republicans and Democrats, that, yeah, we might be divided on a whole bunch of issues in a lot of different ways, but I think I can show you some things, and I think I can introduce you to some people that we can all agree are still worth standing for. So it's a unifying message. It's a family film. It is PG-13 because, you know, history's not always that pretty, but it's honest. And I do think it's a good thing to do on the occasion of our independence.
All right, as you probably figured by now, I'm a huge fan of your work, and honestly, I've even tried to. Let's just say I've produced a few shows that were, how do I say blatant ripoffs without actually saying the words blatant ripoff?
Oh, no, I don't mind.
They were inspired.
No, I'm flattered.
So I once did a show that was like Dirty Jobs, but I replaced the jobs part with weird and unusual hobbies, and I had my host try them out and be like that fish out of the water feel. And kind of see why people were passionate about doing what they do. The final product wasn't exactly what I originally pitched, since all these other producers, higher-ups, and all those people got involved. But
sure.
Here's my question. If some low-rent TV producer from New Mexico were to attempt something like that again, what advice would you give that producer or any other storyteller out there about how to get that same level of authenticity and heart?
Wow. All right. So here's the thing. Here's the most important thing, Dan. You work for your audience, right? Not for the people who pay you directly. You work for the people who watch you, but you can't suck up too badly. You have to amuse yourself first. If you're genuinely curious, if you genuinely give a damn, then the audience hopefully will come along with you. If they do, they'll stick with you forever. If they don't, you'll know it in a hurry. But look, don't feel bad about ripping me off. I ripped off George Plimpton. Dirty Jobs, I just looked at what George Plimpton and Studs Terkel and Charles Kuralt did and just took it, right? There's no such thing as a new idea. With the way I heard it, I just took what Paul Harvey did, the rest of the story. And that's what this movie is. So don't make yourself crazy trying to come up with a new idea. There's no such thing. Look to history. Find something nobody's done in a while. Then do it better.
Mike Rowe, you are a hero. Make sure you watch Something to Stand For, coming to theaters nationwide on June 27th. For more information, you can watch the trailer and visit somethingtostandfor.movie. And don't miss it. It's kind of the journey through America's untold stories. Mike Rowe, pleasure to have you here today, my friend.
Dan, you flatter me. Good luck in the next thing you steal.
So, you know, sometimes you go to work each and every day. Wouldn't it be nice to just kind of forget everything that happens for at least the 8 hours that you're there and then go home and just kind of live your life? Well, that may not actually be a good thing. In the new TV series Severance, it's all about that. And today we have Adam Scott with us to tell us about the new show that's available on Apple TV+. How are you, Adam?
Good. How you doing, Dan?
Doing fabulous. Hey, I actually ran into you this past Sunday over at the Critics' Choice Awards.
Oh, great.
I got this fabulous photo of me and Ben Stiller, and in the background, I get a shot of you kind of scowling at me, but I could tell.
Really?
Yeah, it's really kind of funny, but the next photo I have is you laughing, so I think you kind of did it on purpose just to mess with us as you photobombed us.
Maybe so, yeah.
So, hey, I've checked out your new series. It's a great show. Can you tell us more about it?
Yeah, it takes place in a world where there's a technology. You can get a chip inserted in your brain, so your work life and your home life are completely separate. You don't know what you do at work when you're out in the world, and then when you're at work, you have no idea who you are out in the world. So you have two separate lives that you live, and it kind of goes from there. And this big company, Lumen, that invented the technology and uses it on their workers, is where the show takes place.
Well, thank you very much for joining me this morning. I actually voted for you for the Critics' Choice Awards. I was kind of upset that you didn't win, but I really loved your performance in Severance.
Thanks, Dan.
And all of the good work that you did. So congratulations.
Thanks, man.
Good
Appreciate
work.
that.
You're welcome, man. All right, but we'll talk to you soon. Check out Severance. It's available now on Apple TV+. Adam Scott, thank you for joining me this morning.
Thanks, Dan.
That's it for New Mexico Rising. I want to thank you for tuning in and kicking off the new year with me. 2025, hopefully it goes much better than 2024. Hey, I'm just tired. That's it. So if you guys want to hang out with me, go to my website. That's newmexicorising.com. On there, I put a bunch of books from some of the authors that come onto the show. They give them to me for free. So what I do is I just give them to you for free. All you gotta do is pay for shipping. And yeah, some of you noticed that. I had an MRI this morning. I'm having some heart issues and they're looking at it. So they told me to keep this on because I might have some bruising, but I could probably take it off now, but it's all right. So yeah, I'm sorry I'm rambling to myself. Welcome to 2025, where Dan just doesn't care. And until next week, that was New Mexico Rising.